Dharmabytes is brought to you by Free Buddhist Audio, the Dharma for your life. Our work is funded entirely by donations from our generous listeners. If you would like to help us keep this free, make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. Thank you, and happy listening.
Then there are more positive images of ways of fire imagery is used in the Buddhist tradition, which is about transformation, the flames of transformation that liberate us from a narrow state to a broader state. So fire is a symbol, but the notion of things getting hotter and hotter in this rather decrepit environment that we've created may seem a little more familiar than that. You know, Greta Thunberg, the Swedish climate activist teenager, who only about a year ago decided that she was going to have a school strike once a week and has become a global figure. She used this same image in one of her speeches to the UN or some such body. She said to the assembled dignitaries, and she has absolutely no sense of nervousness about her, she said, "The world is on fire. And you're just talking about politics. When the world is on fire, you need to put the fire out," which is not exactly the same image, but it's very similar. That image of the burning house, for me, has this tremendous resonance when I think about climate change and the issues that the world faces. And I won't now give a long exposition about all the challenges of climate change and so on and so forth, but just take them for granted. It strikes me that in relation to climate change, it's easy to think, well, I'm the guy outside, we're the guys outside the house who are shouting to the people inside the house. But actually, that's not the way it's worked out. The father figures have been scientists. They've been climate scientists who've just been telling us, by the way, the world is getting hotter and it's going to keep on unless you change your ways. In one of the greatest ironies I can think of, scientists who have rejected religion have become prophets. You know, they're telling us, if you sow the wind, you will reap the whirlwind. They're telling us, as Blake says, if you carry on so, it will be so. They are, in scientific terms, laying out the connection between actions and consequences. The consequences are so serious and the actions go so deep into our culture that they can't avoid talking about values, can't avoid talking about ethics. We are in a position where we have to look for an ethical insight to climate scientists. And that's maybe as it should be when we're talking about facts. I just want to say something about climate skepticism here, because even within my own Buddhist community, there are some people who question what climate science seems to be saying to us. And it is a debate. But personally, my view is I have absolutely no way of adjudicating that debate. I'm not a climate scientist. I can't possibly know what the real truth of climate science is and climate change and global warming and all those things. How could I possibly know for a fact? So I have to turn to the experts. And the majority of the experts are telling me that it's real. A minority may be saying that it's not happening in that way, and they may turn out to be correct. I don't know. But in the absence of certainty, we have to go with probabilities. And when the great majority are giving us, what seemingly is a very authoritative message, which has a very strong impact on our own personal actions, our ethical responsibilities, then we have no alternative, in my view, no responsible, legitimate alternative, but to heed what they say and to act on it. That's why I personally take what the message of climate science, the message that we're in a burning house and a burning planet, if we're not careful, very seriously. In responding to that, I also want to know what it is that I can contribute. And as a community, I think we should be asking, what is it that we can contribute as Buddhists from the perspective of the Dharma? I mean, of course, we've got our responsibilities as citizens, but we may have something extra to offer. If so, then we need to think about that quite carefully.
We hope you enjoyed today's Dharmabyte. Please help us keep this free. Make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. And thank you.